Now we will see history of technology timeline. 3.3 million years ago, the first tools, the history of technology begins even before the beginning of our own species. Sharp flags of stone used as knives and larger unshaped stones. 1 million years ago, fire. When humanity first used fire is still now definitively known, but like the first tools, it was probably invented by an ancestor of Homo sapiens. 2000 to 50,000 years ago, Neolithic Revolution. During the Neolithic period, several key technologies arose together. Humans moved from getting their food by foraging to getting it through agriculture. 6000 BCE irrigation also. 4000 BCE sailing. The first sailing ships were used on the Nile River. Since the Nile doesn't allow as much space for free sailing as the ocean, the ships also had oars for navigation. 1200 BCE iron. About this time, the production of iron became widespread as that metal supplanted bronze. Iron was much more abundant than copper and tin, the two metals that make up bronze. 850 CE, they found gunpowder. Alchemists in China invented gunpowder as a result of their search for life extending exhalers. It was used to propel rockets attached to arrows. The knowledge of gunpowder spread to Europe in the 13th century. 950 windmill. Nearly 5000 years after the first sailing ships, the wind was first used to operate a mill. The first windmills were in Persia. They were horizontal windmills in which the bladders were shed on a vertical shaft. Later European windmills were of the vertical type. 1044, they found compass. The first definitive mention of a magnetic compass dates from a Chinese book finished in 1044. It describes how soldiers found their way by using a fish-shaped piece of magnetized iron floating in a bowl of water when the sky was too cloudy to see the stars. 1200 to 1300 years ago, mechanical clock. Hourglass and water clocks has been around for centuries, but the first mechanical clocks began to appear in Europe toward the end of the 13th century and were used in cathedrals to mark the time when service would be held. 1455, they have found printing. John Gutenberg completed the printing of the Bible, which was the first book printed in the West using movable type. 1765, steam engine. James Watt improved the Newcomen steam engine by adding a condenser that turned the steam back into liquid water. 1804, railways. English engineer Richard Stuyvesant improved James Watt's steam engine and used it for transport. He built the first railway locomotive at an ironworks in Walls. Then 1807 they found a steamboat. Robert Fulton put the steam engine on water. His steamboat, that was eventually called the Clermont, took 32 hours to go up the Hudson River from New York City to Albany. Sailing ships took 4 days. 1826/27 photography. In the early 1820s, Niels became interested in using a light-sensitive solution to make copies of lithographs on the glass, zinc, and finally a pewter plate. 1831 Repo. For thousands of years, harvesting grapes was very labor intensive. That changed with Cyrus M.C. Cormick's invention of the mechanical repair. 1814 they found telegraph. Samuel Morse was a successful painter who became interested in the possibility of an electric telegraph in the 1830s. 1876 they found telephone. Once it was possible to send information through a wire in the form of dots and dashes. The next step was actual voice communication. Alexander Graham Bell made the first telephone call on March 10, 1876, when he asked his assistant Tom Waston to come to him. "Mr. Waston, come here, I want to see you." This is the first dialogue. And this year internet also they are found. After that, 1879 electric light. After thousands of trials, American inventor Thomas Edison got a carbon filament light bulb to burn for 13.5 hours. Edison and others in his laboratory were also working on an electrical power distribution system to light homes and businesses. And in 1882 the Edison Electric Illuminating Company opened the first power plant. Then 1885 they found automobile. The internal combustion engine improved, becoming smaller and more efficient. Carl Burns used a one-cylinder engine to power the first modern automobile. 1901 they found radio. Marconi had been experimenting with radio since 1894 and was sending transmission over longer and longer distances. In 1901, his reported transmission of the Morse code letters as across the Atlantic from Cornwall to Newfoundland excited the world. 1903 airplane. On December 17, Orville Wright made the first airplane flight of 120 feet near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. He and his brother Wilbur made 4 flights that day. On the last, Wilbur flew 852 feet. 1927 television. After the development of radio, the transmission of an image was the next logical step. Early television used a mechanical disc to scan an image. 1937 computer. Iowa State mathematician and physicist John Atanasoft designed the first electronic digital computer. You can see the picture. Then in 1942 they found nuclear power as part of the Manhattan Project to build the first atomic bomb. It was necessary to understand nuclear reaction in detail. On December 2, underneath the football stands at the University of Chicago, a team of physicists led by Enrico Fermi used uranium to produce the first self-sustaining chain reaction. Now you are seeing the image. This one is in 1947 transistor. On December 23rd, Bell Labs engineers John Burdeen, Walter Brattain and William Shockley gave the first public demonstration of the transistor, an electrical component that could control, amplify and generate current. After that, we can see in 1957 they found space flight. The Soviet Union surprised the world on October 4th when it launched the first artificial satellite Sputnik 1, a small 83.6 kg metal sphere. The space race began between the Soviet Union and the United States, opening up a new front in the Cold War. In 1974, they found a personal computer. The first computers that emerged after World War II were gigantic, but with advances in technology, especially in putting many transistors on semiconductor chips, computers became both smaller and more powerful. Finally, they became small enough for home use. The first such personal computer was the Altair, which was soon supplanted in 1977 by the Apple II, the TRS-80 and the Commodore PET. In 2012, CRISPR, American biochemist Jennifer Doudna and French microbiologist Emmanuelle Carpentier developed CRISPR-Cas9, a method for editing genes, that is making changes to DNA sequences. Gene editing has the potential to treat many diseases, but also opens the up ethical gray area of creating designer humans. And finally, 2017, Artificial intelligence. The team behind the AlphaGo artificial intelligence program announced that it had become the world's best Go player. Go is a game with very simple rules but many possible positions. The previous year, AlphaGo had defeated the great player Lee Sedol in a match. For Space One, AlphaGo then played itself and through continual improvement was able to defeat the version that had defeated Lee 100 to 0. Through machine learning, AlphaGo had become better at the game than any human. So this is the history of technology. 3.3 million years ago, from 2017.